Forgiveness and second chances are fine, but Barnaby Joyce's position is one of great power, privilege and pay. Do you think our country is actually committed to supporting females and progress when Barnaby Joyce is allowed back into office given his alleged past behaviour?
Nicole.
OK. Barnaby 2.0, will it be better than Barnaby 1.0? I don't know if you bet the house on that one, but I'm actually not going to comment on Barnaby. What I'm going to say, and again, exceptions to Andrew and Hollie because they're such nice people, but is this the best we can do in who we're sending to Canberra? I don't know, that's what worries me when you look at the crop of, was this our choice? Did we have to go back to Barnaby? You look at and sort of say, are our options so low? What have happened to our best and brightest going to Canberra, our smartest Australians, the ones that wanted to lead not as a job description but as like a verb, you know, actually leading? Where are those people and why aren't they being attracted to politics? And that's what I think has to come out of this is not why Barnaby, but why so few choices?
Hollie Hughes, this was a question about Barnaby Joyce and whether it shows our country is genuinely committed to supporting females. Do you think he deserved a second chance as Deputy Prime Minister?
Hamish, thank you for the question, and I appreciate the questioner asking it. I am not going to comment on the National Party and their leadership choice.
It's not just the National Party, it's the government of which you're a member. He's now the Deputy Prime Minister. Your reaction to that?
Well, he's the leader of the National Party, and the National Party room made that decision. Now, I'm not going to make any commentary on the decision they made because, quite frankly, I wouldn't want them to make any commentary on the decision the Liberal Party made. So we respect that across all parties. Andrew would understand that as well. It's a matter for each party room. If the National Party feel that Barnaby is the best person for them to lead the National Party, that's their decision. And, you know...
It's quite telling, isn't it, that that's all you can say about the new Deputy Prime Minister?
Hamish,
look,
I
know Barnaby well. I could say lots more about Barnaby. He certainly injects lots of energy into everything he does. He's a fantastic retail politician. He was elected to New England with increased majorities consistently. I mean, he wins so hands down on primary vote. And I understand what Nicole's saying about, is this the choice? Well, the people of New England have made that choice consistently and with a very strong voice. The National Party have made their choice when it comes to leader, and that's a matter for them.
Andrew Leigh.
Hamish, I think Hollie is dead right on this. She wasn't in that party room that chose Barnaby Joyce. She's in the unfortunate position of having to deal with these 1950s views on childcare, and I understand she spoke out vocally on that. But the fact is that this man is a one-man wrecking ball. You know, it's not just that he wanted to execute Pistol and Boo and confused his trillions and billions. It's not just that he wants nuclear power stations in every town and thinks that climate change is a hoax. The fact is that he was removed from the job over sexual harassment allegations, and in a Me Too era, he's just not an appropriate person to be the Deputy Prime Minister of the country. We need people with judgment at a time of crisis. His last challenge was in the bushfires. This challenge is in a pandemic. We need people who think about the nation, not just thinking about themselves.
Jayden, I know you have done Toastmasters yourself. You're a fan of respectful discourse in public life. What do you make of our politics and the way it's conducted?
Jayden for Canberra.
No, absolutely not. No. So I suppose it is not something that I have ever sustained much interest in, and that is because I do not always feel that my demeanour towards civility and respect between different groups and idea groups specifically, that my demeanour for that is always represented by the people who are our representatives. And Barnaby Joyce, he knows how to earn a lot of attention, and he must be a very charming man. But I am curious about the question of whether the ability or inability for one to lead in their own personal life is reflective of their ability or inability to lead in their professional life. Does that cause them to be a a vessel of the morality that we require in the administration of a nation.
And what do you think on that question, Jayden?
I certainly would like... I'm yet a little undecided on my answer to that, but certainly I have hitherto maintained not too much interest in Barnaby Joyce, and I think going forth I will continue to maintain no interest in him.
Yeah, bravo! Bravo.
I think that
Jayden,
Good question.
wins Answer of the Year on Q&A so far. Bill Bowtell, are you interested in Barnaby Joyce?
Well, I'm more interested really in what Barnaby Joyce represents in relation to climate change. Since 2007, we've had 5 prime ministers, five governments. Each one of them, more or less, has been brought down because of an inability to come to terms with the facts and evidence of climate change. Each prime minister has gone in, 14 years. Barnaby Joyce coming back in represents a return to strong climate denialism, a rejection of the facts and evidence about climate change, and creates a diabolical problem for the internal unity of the present federal government. And you have to say that if this is unresolved and no serious proposition can be taken to the meeting that's coming up in Glasgow about reduction of emissions, much less anything else we have to do, then we might well be in train of seeing the 6th Prime Minister fall in less than 15 years on climate change. We cannot go on like this. It's bad for the economy. It's certainly bad for the health of Australians and the planet, and it is time to change. And Barnaby Joyce coming back in is just a symptom of a real inability to come to terms with the facts and evidence.
Okay.